Hi, gun people. Maybe I'll post this on a horsey channel too. So I need to put an outlet out here at the garage because it's really irritating me. And since I have an outlet right here, I'm just going to cut into this wire here, splice down and come down. I had to peel off this foam insulation, which is freaking, took me a half hour to do that. I mean, it is just hard and glue. And then I kind of spaced out the little box there. And then I'll show you the little box that I'm gonna try to do. This is gonna be some rigging, because this isn't your typical pole barn where you have like wooden slats and I could put frames and put it, it's metal, so I have to put this on sheet metal. So I was like, okay, I could just put a hole, run a wire out, and then mount the box on the outside. The problem with that is this door opens. So I can't have a plug box on the outside of this wall because this door slides open. You see how this is set back? So where you saw me cutting in there is I'm right here. I'm gonna put the plug right here, but I'm only gonna have the plug and the face coming out so this door can open and not affect the plug. So I can't put a box on the outside. So I'm gonna cut a little hole and just have the outlets out here, put a faceplate over it, then I can plug in. But because I have these freaking steel beams everywhere, trying to mount something. Now see, when I came out over here with a ground wire, where's my little ground wire at for my, I was able to cut a nice little hole, put some caulk in it, and then I just pulled my ground wire out so I could ground my electrical box. And so that was okay, but they don't have anything that I could, I mean, if I could just have a little door, I'd just run an extension cord through a little door that I could close and lock. But they don't have a door like that. So even mounting in here was really a pain in the butt, because trying to mount on these steel beams, these beams are freaking thick and it takes forever to drill through and to mount. Now these are a little bit lighter, and I was able to mount underneath here, you can see, but then the holes come up through here with the screws, and I had to cut them off and sand them down, and it was a pain in the butt, because then I can't use the shelf because I got these holes holding the outlets. So it's really just kind of been a super pain to wire this barn. So I basically have all my plugs underneath here, and then I just plug in these speed strips and mount these so I have multiple plugs. So that's pretty much what I'm doing. The problem is over here is I have a plug here, and I mean, I could put an extension cord through here, but I don't want to leave this open. I don't want to block it for Moki to come in and out. So I just want a freaking plug to where I can have outside. Now, I know everyone's gonna go, why don't you just, I know everybody's got all these easy suggestions. Now I have this thing up here, so when this door is open, I can just run this out and I'm good to go. Not a problem. I have my thing, so I have power. I also ran a couple out through there on this light switch here for this light. Okay, and then I tied off it and I ran one here, so I have a plug here, underneath here. But that doesn't help me to leave something plugged in. The main reason I'm doing this is I'm trying to plug in a little heating pad for the rabbit out here. And then sometimes when I want to leave my battery on a charger overnight, I either have to leave the garage door open with a cord out, or hell, that's the only way I do it. I have to leave the garage door open with a cord out. So I have my speakers wired up here, and I have this light wired up here. So I could run a wire off this and bring it down, but then what am I gonna do? I mean, I'd have to cut a hole here, cut a hole up there to run a pipe down here, but then I'm stuck with the box out here to where when this opens, I'm screwed. It knocks it off. This is the max that something can be out, and a box is a lot farther than that. So when I mounted this, I had to make sure my garage door would still open and slide out here. So I'm gonna cut a hole and put it there. It may not be the best way, but it is what it is. So mounting this thing there I have thought of a bunch of different things, and the easiest way I have found is I have a box, and on this box I have screwed these two little clamps here, and so there's nothing to screw into the sheet metal, so I need something solid to support this. So I'm going to put one piece of wood here. I'm going to screw this into here. I'm going to put this piece of 2x4 here. I'm going to screw into there. And then on the outside, I'm going to use screws that go into here, and that will hold the box where it's at. And then I'll have the plug on the outside. So the box will be to this. This will be face up against the metal. This will stick out just enough to come through so I can plug it in outside. And that's how I'm going to do this box. And if somebody comes up with a really easy way after this video, I'm going to be pissed. Because I was thinking, how the hell? I mean, just putting things in here, you can't really put anything against the wall. All my hooks and everything have to be on these, they used to call them like Z or C clamps or C metal bars or whatever. They have to be here. So all my mounting, I had to put studs and wood so I could actually kind of connect and do things. Because a metal barn, I mean, especially when I got this right here, man, putting that damn thing in there, Jesus Christ, it took me an hour to drill through. I mean, this stuff does not drill through easy. Oil and screwing and wearing out bits. So it was kind of a pain. But there's really no way that I could come up with to get a plug out there. So I'll slide in some pictures on the progress here. And so now I have to cut a hole to where the socket can just go through. And then splice off underneath there, run a wire down, wire my box up, and see if I can mount those 2x4s, which is going to be really interesting. Because when you do things by yourself, it's kind of tough not to have an extra set of hands. So I'm going to have to figure out a way. I'm going to lean something against the wood in here and screw the wood onto here, and then actually screw the box after I have the wood slats up. Is probably the way I'll do that. I'm not sure. It's going to be interesting, but that's my plan. So you can tell the little kitty door I put in here, I cut through here, and I had to cut out the sheet metal in order to fit this. And so it's pretty solid, but it's not super solid because it's metal. And so this is pretty solid, but it's not super solid. So those two wooden beams coming up here will hopefully latch onto there and will solid it up. And all right, we'll see how this thing goes. Okay, just a little update. This is the third wheel I've gone through putting on this Dremel to try and cut through here. And so I don't want to cut the whole box out because then it might just pop through. So I just want to put to where the light sockets can go through. So one, I dropped it and it broke. The second one, I just wore it out. And this is the third one. Hopefully I can cut that little piece out. Okay, made it through. So I just bent it out. I'm going to take that off. This should fit right in there, and then a faceplate should cover that up on the other side. And I should be able to plug that in on the other side. Okay, so I went ahead and wired my box up. So it's already done. It's already in there and wired. I'm going to splice this in to my up wire up there. And then this little box should fit right here. And then I should have two plugs on the outside. Now I got to mount my wood blocks on the side and figure out how to hold this up while I go on the outside and screw it in. All right. Okay, for those that couldn't conceptualize what the hell I was doing. So those two wood pieces are screwed through the outside. The box is there. All I got to do is run this back up here and hook it into here. And I should be good to go. If I go outside, man, what you talk about a freaking disaster. I mean, you know, nothing goes easy. Look at all this crap I have out because I kept having to pull out new things. I tried to use this freaking light and I couldn't see. and it looked like some mouse had chewed up or done something to my wires. I'm like, well, maybe that's the break. So I wiggled around, couldn't get any kind of connection. I cut it out, cut these, spliced them together, still couldn't get it to work. Now I'm throwing the piece of shit away because it's pissed me off. But I had this for a long time anyway, so that's going in the trash. I mean, I put some contact cleaner. I'm like, why did this thing work? So that totally distracted me for about an hour. By the time I got all my electrical gear out and was stripping and wiring. And then I had to use some wood screws over there. So instead of using these metal screws, I had to take these little washers off. See the little washers? And you'll see those now that I put them outside. I'll show you with that. There's the other end of that damn cord. I was cussing like a damn sailor with a boat sinking, I tell you. So here's what it looks like on the outside. I got those 4 little screws into the wood. It goes straight through. I had to get this metal plate, but because this isn't even, I had to bend it all out and make it to where it would go in a little bit in order to get this screw in here. So now I just got to get some caulk and put a little silicone around there, and I should be good to go. So now I have a plug out here, and it's not going to interfere with this running by because it's back here. So I am good to go with power out here. And it is 5:30, and there's a little rabbit. I must have just stepped on him. I gave him a little hay. So this whole damn project started so I could plug in right there, and there's a little heat mat that I'm going to put right here, that if he wants to lay on it when it gets really cold, it'll heat up. It's called a germinator or something. I showed it on my horse channel for the cat. So that's what started this whole damn project. All right, so here's what I had to get him. So this is underneath here, and I touched this, and it's really warm for the cat. And it's a germinator mat. It's like a little heating pad. And so it just generates a little bit of heat, and that way the cat can lay here and it's warm. And I'm going to put one out there for the rabbit. And man, don't even try to, I mean, the way that I had to try and hold it, put one screw and straighten it and come back. And I mean, you talk about a pain and some cussing, because if this fell on my head, this got knocked over. I had my other light that I finally found. I broke 3. I mean, it was just, let me tell you. So cleanup is still coming. I need to move this back here because I don't want to break that. So I'll get back in here and finish wiring that, and hopefully it'll work. All right, all that's left is a cleanup. It's wired. That light on outside, I'll bring it outside. I haven't tested the little Moki helped me finish up. Piece of shit light. So I plugged in the light, make sure it works, but I haven't really plugged in my tester to see it. There it is. Good to go. If the red was on, I'd be bad. That one works. And the 2 yellow ones are on. So I am good to go. Finished project. It may not look great, but it's functional. And hopefully underneath here it's in the middle. That's another thing. I didn't want to put it way on the corner to where it would get wet. So in the middle here, hopefully it's going to stay pretty dry and not have issues. All right, well, then out there.